Hey, I'm Ed, big supporter of Women Up Queensland. I just want to address some of the onlookers to what's going on here. There are two groups here. Around here, this is Women Up Queensland. Over there is Meganjin People's Pride. Women Up Queensland believes that the way to categorise men and women is on physical sex-based rights. Meganjin People's Pride disagrees, and critically, they don't want you to hear our side of the argument. Meganjin People's Pride regularly organises a Trans Day of Visibility. We never ever disrupt or disturb or interfere ever. We are happy for everybody to hear both sides of the argument. And you may disagree with me about the role of sex-based rights. You may disagree with me about the role of sex rather than gender in categorising men and women. But how much of a red flag is it for you? There are two sides to an argument, and there is one side that doesn't want you to hear both sides. And that, for me, is almost enough that I need to hear. Now, the minute I grabbed this microphone, the minute you saw me, the minute you heard my voice, every single person here knew that I was a bloke. In fact, even the activists on the other side knew that I was a bloke. And it is critically important to understand that sex-based rights, sex as a way to categorise men and women, is a really useful mechanism that even our opponents use. And using sex rather than gender as a way to categorise men and women is so important in high-stakes, high-conflict situations. When people are disagreeing, when our opponents want to understand the best way to heckle people, they look at me and they think, is he a man or a woman? And they use sex to make that decision. So not only do I disagree with their point of view, I think they don't even really believe it in their heart of hearts. The other thing I want to say that is so important is that every good, decent Australian man knows or should know that whether we like it or not, we will bring an implicit threat of violence to our dealings and interactions with women. You might disagree with that, you might not want to acknowledge it, but most guys will understand that in our dealings with women, whether we like it or not, whether we mean it or not, we bring an implicit threat of violence. And it is imperative, given that every man engaged in politics does what he can to dial that down and make sure that that implicit threat of violence is never present in our political system. And as much as possible, it is absent. And that's why one of my central complaints with Meganjin People's Pride is that you are bringing an implicit threat of violence to a group of tuckshop mums, lesbians and Christians who should be able to get together and say that they want their own toilets. Thank you.